Okay, everybody, this is my spoiler review of Sunny episode 5. Please no book spoilers in the comments. Now, in this episode, I'm happy that we learned a lot about Masa, and you see that in the beginning of the episode because we see this flashback that Suzie is thinking about while she is on the train with Mixxy, and in this flashback, we see that Masa missed Zen's play, and he does the very generic thing where he brings the teddy bear because he was late. But the big thing is that he was also hammered, so he's been very careless as a father at this time. And we learn in this episode how many warning signs Suzie actually had, which we didn't really see that before. And now things start to make more sense in the case of Masa being up to no good and making the character more gray than seeming like they had a perfect relationship. We see all the dirty in the relationship. You see Masa says a line to her, when something you care about goes to shit, it really hurts. It's got to be a problem he had at the job here with the homebot, someone taking over or using him the way he didn't want to. And he's honestly sounds like a baby about it. So that's going to be interesting to see what transpired there. And he also says to her that he won't lie to his son about being in the back. And he said he should get used to disappointment. You can't protect him forever. So you see a different parenting philosophy there and how he's more of that harsh reality type parenting there. He also says to Suzie that she doesn't really let herself care about stuff, but she does because she's caring about her son's play. This isn't completely accurate. But it was a little strange how, we didn't really see the ultimate reaction of them leaving the house after it was raided by the Yakuza. They're just automatically on this train, and that's the decision they go is just to leave. So it was just kind of bizarre ending from her crying in Zen's room, seeing her house raided, to all of a sudden they're just boom, out of there. I thought that was a little just jarring. But Mixxy will say that her family house is not far, where there's this farm, and when they get off the train, there's no shuttle bus to the house. And to make this episode even make any sense, they have to make sure we all know there's no service. But there's also this man following them who they think is part of the Yakuza, so that keeps them moving at a quicker pace. But Sunny in the beginning sounds the most reasonable here, talking about let's just walk back another way and get help, which I think would have been the smarter plan all along. I also like in this moment they put a bear painting behind Sunny at the train stop, foreshadowing the bear later in the episode. Now, with everything going on in Noriko in the episode, this episode also develops feeling more for her character now. And she shows up to her friend's place because she's trying to bury all this grief she's been burying the whole season. And you see she wasn't invited to her friend's grandson's birthday party because she thought she might be busy. So it's just showing you too that they're even noticing her friends how much Noriko's not even taking time to just normally grieve. I love the humor they threw in here at Noriko though, where she goes to Suzie's, sees she's not there and sees the house is raided, and she goes, what a slob. But you see the grief start to come out and the truth in Noriko start to come out when she's looking at a picture of Masa and Zen. Now, it might not be the type of grief of death grief where she's sad that they possibly died, because it still seems like when she's having the phone number do not call later on, that she just might know that he's in a really bad situation with Zen somewhere, and she's grieving in that sense. But they did a good job blending her grief with the type of grief that Suzie is going to really show at the end of the episode, which we're going to get to. Now, I really we got to see Rashida Jones and Anna the Clumsy, who plays Mixxy, just show off their comedic chops in this episode. They had great chemistry together as well, and there's a lot of funny moments here. I love in the woods Suzie just bugging out in the beginning too, what was that? And she's freaking them both out. And we'll also see when Suzie goes to pee, she's wearing granny panties, and she has a great line, can you just keep watch so I don't get murdered with my ass out? But what's also interesting through all this, Sunny throws a quick line to Suzie saying the timing of the insurance would make sense that Masa's dad was involved with the crash, but this is cut off by Suzie. She doesn't want to focus on that right now, but that's very important, and we still have to figure out the whole mystery of who his real father is and what that man has involved with everything that we haven't seen yet. Now, Sunny has feelings of jealousy and is protective of Suzie and doesn't trust Mixxy. She says just something off about her, and you see tension between Mixxy and Sunny. That's been going on since the first time Mixxy came over Suzie's place. But in that, which I like the episode did, was you see both very likable moments of Mixxy and Sunny and very not so great moments of both of them in this episode. So they're keeping all the characters very complicated, which is good and not one-dimensional. We also learned the granny panties that Suzie was wearing was lucky underwear. She kept the underwear of this college girl she had a fling with, so this person that she really liked and admires has to be this character we haven't met of D, that she has texted, I'm so sorry, and not getting an answer. So something happened there too, which keeps you fascinated, and that's another mystery to Suzie's past and who is Dee exactly. And she won't give Sunny the answer she wants of why she's exactly still wearing them now. Now, what's interesting about Sunny's behavior as a robot, and it's very fascinating because you don't see this in a lot of robot stories, is her finding this dying baby bird and wanting to take care of it. And we'll see later on in the episode, the reveal of this is because she wants to understand how Suzie feels as a parent. But the dark side of that, which Suzie will call her out for, is she's like, I want it to happen when the baby died, because she's curious to feel that grief of losing a child. Sunny will also start to learn to be a little more human in this episode, especially the way she sees how Suzie forgives Mixxy about getting them lost and not telling them the full truth. She says she made a mistake, she's human, and that's when Sunny's like, what? Like, why aren't you yelling at her? Sunny will come around later in the episode and admit her jealousy of Mixxy and also not fully pin the blame on Mixxy anymore about keeping the bird. I also love there's very E.T. inspired imagery in this episode, especially with Sunny when she's going through the woods at night. Now, they'll find this abandoned little temple in the woods. And my favorite part of the episode is Mixxy will make a speech about trees are not actually alone. They help each other when one is struggling through fungi. And she says not just the ones that are related to, it could be any old pine tree off the street. It's just what they do. Suzie says, so I'm a dying tree. And Mixxy says sometimes, but then sometimes I'm a dying tree. It goes both ways. I love this line. I love this whole part. Seems like this can be cheesy, but this pulled it off because it was unique and it made a lot of sense. I really, really liked it. And it was earned between these two characters. Now, it also scares me, and we've seen this in so many stories like this, so they might not go this route because it's a little cliche, but when Sunny is going to sleep, I'm sure she's always listening to what they're saying. So I got nervous here when Suzie was kind of talking crap about Sunny and saying her algorithm's all messed up and how she's judging Mixxy. So you never know if she'll bring that back on later on and bring that up, Sunny, if she was actually listening. Suzie is also remembering when she goes to sleep here, Zen waking her up in the middle of the night in a flashback, and he was wondering why Masa left with the suitcase. But it's interesting, the shadow of Zen in that moment looks like the shape of Sunny. I don't believe there's any connection there, but there could be, especially in that kind of foreshadowing if that's the case, because it's eerily similar how that reflection looks. So maybe part of Sunny was actually based on Zen. Now, the bear will show up, and we get a very funny moment where Mixxy starts singing I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, and then they start singing together, so that was great to get the bear away. It's a little out there. It's a weird scenario they're even in this show, but I still actually thought it worked. Now, they end up at the farm, so of course Mixxy was not lying, and the bird dies, so when Suzie goes to comfort Sunny, this is where I was talking about where Sunny's like, this is what I wanted. I just want to understand you, what it's like to be a mother. But then Suzie says, I'm a terrible mother. Why did I let him get on that plane? Sunny says, you trusted your husband. Suzie says, exactly. I should have known with all the signs, and that's what this episode was showing us, the signs that she saw that we hadn't seen much in previous episodes. So my theory that Masa maybe was completely innocent in all this is looking worse and worse. But I still think, obviously, he's running away from bad people, like we'll see when at the funeral that's very A24-esque in aesthetics, that Sunny is remembering being hidden by him and keeping her away from someone. And he's also at the house of whoever this mysterious person is that Noriko is calling. So we know this mysterious person was the one hiding Masa with Sunny. I love the moment, though, where they had Suzie crying over Zen when she sees the dead baby bird at the funeral. And that's cutting between Noriko grieving over Masa in his room, and that's her baby bird. But again, it might be different because she might know that Masa's alive, but just in a terrible situation. So Sunny will tell Suzie about this memory of being hidden by Masa and that he had to protect her. So she said she's going to have more memories. She's just got to figure out how to access them. Now we'll see the flashback at the end of the night when Zen was scared that the dad left with the suitcase. He came back that night and Suzie asked Masa, where were you? He says, it doesn't matter now, all fine now, taken care of. She screams at him, what the hell are you doing? Where the F have you been? But that's not what she really said. She's wishing she did that, but she just said, okay. But see, that connects because she wakes up and is about to tell Sunny that memory she just remembered and connects like, wait a minute, that's what he was doing. He was hiding Sunny at that night. That's where he was up to and left. But Sunny is gone. She did not get to tell her this, and she gets a fake finger left with a note. So you know that's Himi and the Yakuza. So they got Sunny. We don't know where Mixxy is. Did Mixxy help them get Sunny? Is Mixxy completely innocent? Is Sunny completely innocent? I'm still trying to think about why Sunny, they showed her last episode, go to that sex shop where that guy was already interrogated by the man who's been following them. So something is still there we haven't seen with Sunny, that something happened there with that moment where she left and came back. So I'm just wondering who we can really trust here, which makes it more exciting in general. But I think it's a solid episode. I'm going to give it an 8.7. I really like that moment talking about the trees and how they help each other when one is dying. I thought that was great. I love the chemistry between the actresses of Anna the Clumsy and Rashida Jones. And I thought the humor was really good in this episode. And yes, it was kind of ridiculous, the whole woods sequence and that there's this bear, but I think it worked here because this show really is trying to be unique. And I think it's working in that way because it's still enjoyable and still earning everything. So I think it has that kind of more license to go a little more bizarre. But I really enjoyed this episode. I'm really enjoying the show, and I'm excited to see. We're halfway through the season, so we'll see what happens now. And we got some answers here, more into Masa and his mindset, and more into Suzie too, and everybody, honestly, Mixxy and Noriko as well. So everything isn't what it seems, and these characters are complicated, and it's fascinating. We still have this underlying mystery about the murder going on, and Suzie's backstory with this mysterious character of D. Let me know what you thought of the episode down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I read every comment. Try to respond as many as I can. Hit that sub button so you don't miss one of my reviews of Sunny, and I'll see you next time.